Dear students, welcome to this lecture on a fascinating topic called Renaissance. The main objective of this lecture is first to explore how modern political ideas started to develop during the Renaissance, and second to analyze its impact on contemporary governance. These objectives aim to provide students with a comprehensive understanding of the historical context, key thinkers, and enduring significance of Renaissance political philosophy, enabling them to critically analyze the evolution of political thought and its relevance to contemporary political systems. The Renaissance was a period of revival and change that greatly influenced many aspects of human life, including politics. It was mainly a time of cultural regeneration and intellectual transformation. I called it fascinating because this period blurred the lines between different disciplines, fostering cross-pollination of ideas across art, science, philosophy, and politics. This interdisciplinary approach led to groundbreaking insights and innovative discoveries. There was a remarkable surge in intellectual curiosity and exploration during the Renaissance. Thinkers and scholars began questioning traditional beliefs and seeking to understand the world through reason, observation, and experimentation. In addition, the Renaissance marked a dramatic revival of interest in classical learning, art, literature, and science. It was a time when societies reconnected with the intellectual achievements of ancient Greece and Rome, sparking a renewed interest in exploring and expanding upon these ideas. The Renaissance, spanning roughly from the 14th to the 17th century, was marked by a resurgence of classical knowledge, artistic innovation, and intellectual inquiry. One of the profound effects of the Renaissance was the transformation of political thought, leading to the development of what we now refer to as modern political philosophy. In the 16th century, the term Renaissance was introduced by Giorgio Vasari, a trailblazer in the field of modern art history. Vasari employed this term in his renowned work Lives of the Most Famous Painters, Sculptors, and Architects to encapsulate the artistic movement that had flourished in Italy 2 centuries prior to that. Etymologically, the word Renaissance has its roots in the French language and is derived from the old French term renaître, which means to be born again or to be reborn. This old French word is a combination of the prefix re, meaning again, and the verb naître, meaning to be born. That is how the term Renaissance reflects the idea of a revival or renewal, particularly in the context of cultural and intellectual pursuits. The term gained recognition over time as scholars and historians continued to explore and analyze this historical period. The Renaissance period, spanning approximately 3 centuries, as I already mentioned, can be comprehended through 3 distinct phases: the Trecento, 14th century, the Quattrocento, 15th century, and the Cinquecento, which is 16th century. According to Wiley Cypher, there were 4 stages of the Renaissance style during the 1400s through 1700s. First is Renaissance proper, second is Mannerism, third is Baroque, which is a highly decorated style of European architecture, art and music of the 17th and early 18th centuries. The Baroque period is divided into 3 major phases: early, middle and late. And overlapping in time, they are conventionally dated from 1580 to 1650, 1630 to 1700 and 1680 to 1750 respectively. And the fourth stage is called late Baroque, which is also called Rococo. It is an artistic style that developed in the 18th century in Paris in reaction to the grandeur and strict regulations of Baroque. In the beginning, Rococo was associated with King Louis XV's style and design used in the Palace of Versailles. However, this entire period, reflected through various stages, was a crucial turning point where numerous essential and impactful political concepts began to crystallize in relevant forms that remain relevant even today. During this era, central ideas including virtue, liberty, equality, power, republics, kingship and tyranny underwent a substantial transformation. The currents of intellectual thought during the Renaissance molded these concepts, and their enduring influence has left a profound mark on how we perceive and structure governance and societal systems in modern times. The Renaissance started as a cultural movement that profoundly affected European intellectual life in the early modern period. Beginning in Italy and spreading to the rest of Europe by the 16th century, its influence was felt in art, architecture, philosophy, literature, music, science, technology, politics, religion, and other aspects of intellectual inquiry. The Renaissance marked a profound revival of classical texts and ideas that had a transformative impact on European academic and cultural landscapes. Emerging from the intellectual darkness of the Middle Ages, scholars and humanists sought to recover and study ancient Greek and Roman texts which had largely been lost or neglected. The invention of the printing press in the mid 15th century by Johannes Gutenberg facilitated the dissemination of these texts on an unprecedented scale, allowing for broader access to knowledge. This innovation deeply impacted the dissemination of knowledge as it made books more accessible and affordable, leading to a significant increase in literacy and the spread of ideas. By engaging with the wisdom of antiquity, Renaissance thinkers expanded their understanding of the world and sparked innovative thought and critical inquiry. This resurgence of classical knowledge catalyzed a profound reimagining of human potential and laid the foundation for the flowering of new ideas that would shape the course of history. During the Renaissance, scholars adopted the humanist approach, actively seeking to capture realism and human emotions in their art. Indeed, it was during this period when numerous vital and influential political concepts including virtue, liberty, equality, power, republics, kinship and tyranny began to take on a shapes and forms that we recognize today. During the medieval period, political authority was often justified through divine right, and the rulers were believed to derive their power from a higher spiritual source. However, the Renaissance brought forth the concept of humanism, which emphasized the potential and dignity of human beings. This shift from the divine to the human marked a pivotal change in political philosophy. Prominent humanist thinkers like Niccolo Machiavelli challenged the prevailing notions of political authority. Machiavelli's seminal work, The Prince, redefined political realism. He argued that rulers should be pragmatic and adaptable, prioritizing the stability and security of the state over moral concerns. This marked a departure from earlier political thought rooted in religious morality. Thomas More's Utopia presented an alternative vision of governance. Through a fictional dialogue, More critiqued the social and political ills of his time, proposing an ideal society on an isolated island. More's work paved the way for discussions on social justice, communal living, and the role of government in promoting the common good. While emerging slightly later than the Renaissance, John Locke's contributions are integral to understanding the development of modern political philosophy. His work, mainly two treatises of government, laid the foundation for liberal political thought. Locke emphasized natural rights, the consent of the governed, and the right to revolt against tyrannical rulers. His ideas greatly influenced the formation of democratic governments. Petrarch is often referred to as the father of humanism and is widely regarded as a key figure in the broader sense as the father of Renaissance. This distinction is attributed to his significant philosophical perspectives, which are evident in his extensive collection of personal letters, as well as his discovery and compilation of classical texts. Petrarch's contributions to the Renaissance were multifold. He not only championed the revival of classical learning, but also helped shaping the humanist philosophy that emphasized individual potential, cultural renewal, and the exploration of human experience. His legacy as a scholar, poet, and advocate for intellectual curiosity has left an indelible mark on Western thought and the evolution of humanistic ideals. The Renaissance profoundly impacted various aspects of society, including politics and science. In politics, the Renaissance played a significant role in the development of diplomatic conventions, and in science, it indeed fostered an increased reliance on observation. During the Renaissance, the emergence of nation states and the growing complexity of international relations led to the evolution of diplomatic practices. The Renaissance emphasis on humanism, individualism, and rationality influenced the conduct of diplomacy. Diplomats and statesmen began employing diplomatic missions, negotiations, and treaties as tools to achieve political goals and maintain peaceful relations. The emphasis on reason and diplomacy over force marked a departure from earlier approaches, reflecting the changing political landscape and the need for more nuanced strategies in international interactions. The Renaissance also marked a significant shift in scientific inquiry. The focus on reviving classical knowledge and embracing humanism encouraged scholars to re-examine the natural world through empirical observation. This departure from relying solely on religious or philosophical explanations paved the way for a more practical approach to science. Thinkers like Leonardo da Vinci exemplified this approach by meticulously observing and recording natural phenomena. This emphasis on empirical observation and experimentation laid the groundwork for the scientific revolution, which followed in the subsequent centuries and transformed how we understand the natural world. A Dutch Renaissance humanist, Desiderius Erasmus, published a satirical work called In Praise of Folly that critiqued the religious, political and social norms of his time. Erasmus used the literary device of folly, personified as a goddess, to convey his criticisms. Through witty and humorous language, he criticized the corruption within the Catholic Church, the blind adherence to traditions and the hypocrisy of those in power. While not overtly advocating for radical change, Erasmus urged for a return to the core teachings of Christianity and a more sincere personal spirituality. The impact of his work was profound, as it questioned established authority and encouraged critical thinking. In Praise of Folly contributed to the broader intellectual atmosphere of the Renaissance by challenging prevailing norms and fostering an environment of questioning and reform. It also set the stage for further religious and philosophical discussions, shaping the Reformation and subsequent developments in political and religious thought. The ideas that sprouted during the Renaissance continue to shape modern political discourse and governance. Dear learners, I would like to examine a few of those ideas for you and focus on their relevance in contemporary times. Firstly, the Renaissance era witnessed challenges to the dominance of the Catholic Church over political matters. The notion of separating religious authority from political governance gained traction during this time. Today, the principle of secularism remains fundamental in many democratic societies, ensuring religious freedom and preventing religious institutions from controlling political power. The emphasis on human dignity and individual agency during the Renaissance laid the groundwork for modern conceptions of individual rights and liberties. John Locke's idea of natural rights, including life, liberty, and property, influenced the framing of human rights in contemporary legal systems and international agreements. The Renaissance provided fertile ground for the growth of democratic ideals. The notion of popular sovereignty, the idea that political power originates from the people, gained prominence during this period. This concept continues to be a cornerstone of democratic governance, reflecting the importance of citizen participation and representation. The Renaissance played a crucial role in laying the groundwork for the emergence of new disciplines, including sociology and related fields that provided strengths to the existing social and political philosophies. While sociology as a formal academic discipline did not fully develop until later periods, the intellectual currents of the Renaissance paved the way for the exploration of human behavior, society, and culture. We can argue that the Renaissance influence went beyond its immediate era, shaping the intellectual landscape for centuries to come. It laid the foundation for a more comprehensive understanding of human manners and civilizations. Renaissance emphasis on humanism, empirical observation, and critical examination of societal structures fostered a deeper exploration of human experiences, societal dynamics, and cultural variations. It became a vital precursor to the birth of disciplines that would delve into these subjects in more systematic and scientific ways. The intellectual currents initiated during the Renaissance set the stage for the later emergence of disciplines like sociology, anthropology, and cultural studies. These disciplines inherited the Renaissance emphasis on empirical observation, cross-cultural understanding, and critical analysis of institutions. As a result, the Renaissance contributions extend far beyond its immediate era, providing intellectual strengths to existing social and political philosophies and paving the way for the emergence of disciplines that continue to shape our understanding of human society and behavior. In conclusion, we can say that the Renaissance is like a bright guiding light in the history of learning, shining across many years. Its importance reaches far beyond its time, as the ideas and culture it sparked still shape studies in many fields today. The Renaissance broke free from old ways of thinking, inviting questions, personal expression, and the return to ancient wisdom. It sparked curiosity and led to new discoveries in areas like philosophy, art, science, and politics. It valued thinking for oneself and using real world observations, inspiring how we research things today. The Renaissance also connected different subjects, teaching us to understand things more thoroughly. It encourages scholars to appreciate different perspectives, combine ideas, and find timeless truths in human achievements. As modern scholars learn in a world full of knowledge, the Renaissance acts like a compass, guiding them to understand the past, engage with the present, and explore endless ideas for the future. We may also conclude by saying that the Renaissance marked a turning point in the trajectory of political philosophy, catalyzing the transition from divine authority to human-centered governance. The thinkers of this era grappled with complex questions about the role of rulers, the nature of the state, and the rights of individuals. Their ideas continue to shape our understanding of politics and governance, providing a foundation upon which modern democratic societies are built. As we navigate the complexities of contemporary politics, let us remember the lessons and insights offered by the Renaissance thinkers. Their exploration of human nature, power dynamics, and the principles of justice and liberty remain as relevant today as they were centuries ago. Just as the Renaissance paved the way for a new era of human flourishing, our engagement with these ideas can inspire us to forge a more just, equitable, and enlightened political future. As we learned in both politics and science, it fostered a spirit of exploration, critical thinking, and a desire for understanding that contributed to the evolution of diplomatic practices and scientific methodologies. These changes continue to influence the way we approach international relations and scientific inquiry in the modern world. Dear students, in the end, I want to suggest that as you immerse yourself in the texts, discussions, and reflections related to this topic or any such course in political philosophy, embrace the complexity, question assumptions, and seek the relevance that transcends centuries. The Renaissance is not just a historical era, it is a source of inspiration for critical thinking, societal progress, and the quest for a more just and equitable world. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in the following lecture.